PvP or the PvE? Both. Well, actually PvP, because I played Blade in PvP. And then accidentally I also loved it in PvE. And then now I basically just played for PvE. Yeah. So this is the video. I'll link it already if you guys want to check it out yourself. He's talking about pay to win, which is does apply to Lost Ark too. Miss, thanks for the follow. I have to not get the Omni stuff for another day. You can do it.
What's up, boys? Today I wanted to talk to you all about a very controversial topic, and that topic is pay to win. And we're going to be talking about it in the context of Western audiences and how pay to win has become more prevalent in Western games nowadays, and how the audience's reception to pay to win has changed over the years, why I think that is, and how we can use that as to plot some sort of a trajectory in the next 5 or 10 years of where these games are going to go. Now, pay to win for games in some degree or another has been around for the better part of 10 years, maybe even 10 years by this point. But I think that for the longest time, it's just been something that's existed in mobile games.
Maybe longer than 10 years.
You know, Raid Shadow Legends and these other types of mobile games with these arbitrary gating systems like energy stuff, etc., right? And you would have to spend real money to get these things. And I'm going to talk about how I think pay to win has managed to work its way into Western games, and how I think that audiences nowadays are actually more okay with it, much to the detriment of, I would say, an average gamer, and also I would say, in a grander scheme, the customer in general, the audience, the market in general. I don't think this is a good thing. And I agree. So I'd like to start off with looking at like what the context is behind what is pay to win. And I think the fact that pay to win has such a very, it doesn't really have a defined definition. You can't go into the dictionary.
Okay, here's the definition.
Find one definition.
Okay, so we don't ever have to discuss this again. Here's the definition. He's in a treehouse. Yes. Here's the definition. If you can pay to get an advantage, it's pay to win. Simple. Yeah, like, it's very simple. I don't know why we have to keep discussing definitions when it's so goddamn obvious. It's so goddamn obvious. Okay? Because the thing is, he has like he literally uploaded that yesterday. So the thing is, people like to like talk about pay to win as if it wasn't a definition, if it wasn't defined, but it obviously is. Okay, pay to win means you can get an advantage by paying. That's pay to win. Especially in an MMO, progress is also an advantage. So if you have one gear score more than someone else because you paid, that's also pay to win. Was pay to win when you could buy rune pages for money? Yeah, if someone has a rune page, like if someone had runes that you didn't, if you didn't have a single rune page, I mean in League you got free rune pages, no? You got 2 rune pages and that's already enough. So no, that wouldn't be pay to win. If you sub to your account, I got an advantage with what? It's a competitive advantage, not just any. I mean, it's just a progression advantage or like a competitive. It's just a power advantage, right? That is already pay to win. That is it. That's all there is to it. Yeah, good job, Uldu. If you can spend money indefinitely for power grades, it's pay to win. Not indefinitely. Just if you can spend $1 a day, that's already pay to win. The RuneScape membership is paid to win as well because you have an advantage over a free-to-play player. Of course it is. Crystalline Aura in Lost Ark is also paid to win. Lost Ark is paid to lose. You can run out of content and have nothing to do. Different topic.
Pay to win, and everybody agrees on it. So, like, for example, you have games like World of Warcraft, who, in my opinion, I think this game's fucking pay to win as shit.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I went over, I bought WoW tokens, and I bought Mythic Raid gear.
Subscription
and then I put
games
it on
are paid to win?
character.
No, because most subscription games, like WoW, you can't even play without a subscription. So then everyone is on the same playing field. If everyone has to pay a subscription, mandatory to play the game, then it's pay to play, not pay to win. Free to play or old school runes is just a demo of the game. I mean, you get the point. Of course, membership in RuneScape is a huge fucking advantage, right? Because you have access to everything, you get way more stuff, like you have way more access to ways to make gold and so on, right? Or whatever it is over there.
And now I'm better in PvP. It's rated PvP.
No,
like,
if you have a sub fee, no one is paying to win. Everyone's paying to play. It's like saying buying the game is pay to win. No, that's pay to play. That's different. Pay to play means you have to pay to play. Pay to win means there's people that don't pay to play and there's people that pay to win. It's different. This is why your shallow definition doesn't work. Of course it works. You don't have an advantage over anyone if you have a sub fee. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Everyone has a sub fee. You don't have an advantage over someone that doesn't have a sub fee because they can't even play the goddamn game. You know? Someone have the coordinates of this treehouse? No. By your definition, if you get an advantage by playing, it's pay to win. No. What? So you buy to play is pay to win. You have the advantage of playing the game? No. Are you guys fucking listening to what I'm saying? Jesus Christ.
Obviously pay to win, right?
Jesus
but, there are
fucking
people
Christ.
that think that it's not because you can farm that stuff with gold. There's also other people that think that pay to win only occurs whenever you're able to obtain something that is only obtainable by spending real money.
It's just
so it's
more
like,
pay to win.
A sword that's better than every other sword in the game, and the only other way you can get it is by spending real money. So, and then there's on the other side of the spectrum, there's people
honey, I sold one before, but I'm not sure.
That any cosmetic, even cosmetics reference and cosmetics are a fundamental of value in the game, and so adding value through cosmetics is adding value through giving people the win condition through having them. So I'm saying is that pay to win has such a broad definition for so many different kinds
if you think skins are pay to win, then unless the skin gives you actually an advantage power wise, no. Skins are cosmetic. That's why League of Legends isn't pay to win, of course, right? Or Dota, it's not pay to win unless it gives you like an advantage because the skin looks a certain way or whatever, right? But
people, it's very hard for people to stand.
You can link it on Discord if you want. We have a channel over there.
Pay to win because it's just so it's so amorphous.
So the video was pay to win.
There's no official definition of it. I think that's really what I'm trying to say here. And I think this is one reason why it started to happen, is that people who defend the games and people who are okay with these games can always find some point of difference and some other game that is popular that has some feature of pay to win as well. I think that whenever I was considering criticizing,
and we gotta close this topic already. Infections, real life is not pay to win because you don't have some artificial thing that is above real life that can funnel resources into real life. Okay, everything that happens in real life is real life. So pay to win applies only that you can actually get something that is not a part of the game. Or you get something that is a part of the game by a currency that is not a part of the game. So like if you in Lost Ark and you have gold and you buy a new accessory, that's not pay to win, right? That's why real life isn't pay to win either. If you buy a scholarship, or if you buy like a license for something illegally, then that's not pay to win. That you're just a cunt. It's not pay to win, because that means you've earned that currency in the world where it is in, and you buy with it. So real life is not pay to win at all. Real life is play to win. Or you're lucky, right? Or you get born into a rich family. But real life isn't pay to win. Real life isn't pay to win. Stop saying that.
The Lost Ark.
The fundamental problem with pay to win is that you can gain something in a world without actually playing in it or like earning the stuff in it. That's the problem with pay to win. That's why real life isn't.
People kept reminding me about World of Warcraft's pay to win
whales also earn their money and spend it in game.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, but in game they don't earn their money in game. There's already a currency in game which is called gold. So if you earn gold by paying real money, you're taking a shortcut that has nothing to do with the game and the world of the game, and therefore it's pay to win. That's the problem that pay to win is, because it's taking a shortcut and you will undermine people's progression in that world that are actually putting in the effort. That's the problem, right? If you're born in a rich family, you have an easy life, so IRL is pay to win. No. IRL is RNG, maybe. But that has nothing to do with pay to win. You can say it's RNG if you can get lucky IRL and win the lottery, or you get born into a rich family. That has nothing to do with pay to win. That's just RNG.
Very right about that too. But I think that in many cases, people
are you guys
view it as a
fucking
personal...
trolling me? Stop stun locking me. You can buy everything, mate, but the currency that you're getting in real life from your parents is earned in real life. Everything is real. There's nothing above real life that you can that funnels currency. You cannot just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna. I can't even give you an example. I can't even give you, because it doesn't work. The problem is, if I'm Lost Ark, okay, I have gold. Yeah, you see, I have 80,000 gold, and I go to the shop and I buy more. That's pay to win. But in real life, you can't just buy more money, because that's money already. Like, what is it? What does that mean? I'm gonna buy more money with my money? I'm gonna buy more gold with gold? How does that make any sense? That's not how it works. So that's what I'm saying.
Attack, and I think that also, as especially MMO players, because let's be honest, okay, talking about pay to win in an MMO, I mean, this is sacrilegious, this is anathema, this is blasphemy, this is like sacrificing a goat to Satan in the middle of a church.
What?
This is the...
What? You can? You don't have to work, you can just chill on a boat? What do you mean? What? You can if you use your body. Your body is a part of IRL as well. If I go into Lost Ark and I undress my character and I fucking dance in Vern for money, then it's not paid to win. What the hell are you saying? How is that pay to win? You can get gold that way, so it's paid to win. What am I paying? What the fuck are you talking about? You guys are fucking cooked. You guys are
last thing that you want to do. And meanwhile, every single other game that comes out nowadays is somehow pay to win in one way or another. And why does this happen? I think that it happens because, and the turning point for this is, it happens because the games, people play them and they enjoy playing the games. It is literally that fucking simple to me. And I think the best example of this is whenever pay to win really, I think, made a very big inroad into Western audiences, which is Genshin Impact. When a previously thought impenetrable audience of pay to win players, or pay to win, non-pay to win players in the Western audiences, it's like,
I mean, there was already a lot of mobile games out there that people played that were hella pay to win, no? Genshin did reach a wider audience, but I think that was like not the tipping point or anything.
At Genshin Impact over here, right? Nobody would ever buy it. Then it comes out, and this was...
Yes, technically my Founders Pack is paid to win. We all know that. Okay, come on.
It's off the heels of Breath of the Wild, which is very popular. People like that idea of open world exploration. The game was fluid, it played well, and I haven't really played it myself personally, but I've seen the way that it looks, and it does look visually appealing to a certain degree. And what ended up happening is you had millions of people spending millions of dollars on wishes here in America. Can you believe that? This is something that people thought would be impossible to do. And I would say 5 years before that, it would have never happened. But look, here it is, and it is happening. And I think that it's actually just as simple as people want a good game to play. And people will forgive and forget and make excuses for pay-to-win features because they are enjoying the game. And you can make all of the excuses and all of the rationalizations and everything else beyond it, but I think that it's actually just that simple.
That is a good counter-argument that I have heard a couple of times. Does earning gold in-game and sell it for real money mean make real-life pay-to-win? No, because I'm physically sitting here playing the game. Right? So the game is a part of the real life. But real life isn't a part of the game. So that doesn't work like that.
people. People are enjoying playing the game, and it's just as simple of you know, 2 columns, a positive and negative column, and there's more things in the positive column.
That
for
makes
them,
sense. Just
so
think.
they keep playing the game. I think also what's happened, and this is a bit of a generational thing, and I think it's coming. The generational effect is coming from both
Sorry,
directions.
I'm just unlocked.
So
like if you look at it as layers, okay, then real life is always above games because we are physically playing in a artificial simulation. But in the like an NPC in Lost Ark can't play in real life, right? It's not that doesn't work. You can't go the other way. It only goes one way. You know what I mean?
the first direction is from younger people. You have somebody right now, like let's say you're 21 years old. Well, if you're 21 years old, the odds are like you've never really lived. I mean, if you're in America here, I mean, hopefully I would at least think.
Do you think this guy right here can just get out of the game and just just walk around in my room?
Wow, you really got one?
The bots can't go out of the game. They're in the game.
I only play real life to live in Lost Ark. Neeko2lo wrong.
I mean, same. All these people saying you're being jacked and having a huge dig is pay to win makes you be a winner and fucking trolls. What the fuck am I reading? I don't. How hard is this to understand? We're too far gone? I mean, it's just layers. It's just layers. Because characters in here are not people, but people are characters. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. We gotta move on.
You probably never lived without the internet. You don't remember what the Stone Ages were like whenever you had to call your friends on the phone and their mom would answer and then you'd ask to see if Timmy was home so you could go play at the park. This is just not the way people do things anymore. And because of that, I think that many of those people don't
shut the fuck up.
understand exactly how much
not a
different it used to
democracy.
be whenever we were like me, like people that are like, I'd say 30 and over. Whenever we were gamers and we were kids in the 90s, there was no real pay to win or anything like that. Pay to win is renting the same video game twice from Blockbuster. So you see an audience of people who have been brought up and conditioned in a way to be more accepting of these types of features because they've grown up with them. Whereas for people my age, and I'm also going to talk about people my age becoming more okay with it as well, but first thing I want to talk about the young people is that people my age, you know, we see this and we're like, man, like, why can't we just have another Super Mario World again? Why can't we just have let's have another Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? Like, what is this shit? Right? But you have a lot of people who they've grown up and this is all they've known is, you know, you buy this from the microtransactions. So you're establishing a culture, you're establishing a precedent.
Dirty Spot,
and for younger people, they don't have any other frame of reference. So that's just what they accept as being okay. And I think that growing up, and that's always been okay, and you know that it is what it is. I think that's the way a lot of people see it. They've been conditioned to believe that. And then also for older people,
really the
I think
case?
it's literally this simple. And I think that for some people it is. Obviously,
is that really the case though? Like for example, Lost Ark. Would you say the Lost Ark player base? Holy shit, my character is ugly. Let me hold on. We gotta. Would you say in Lost Ark that most of the player base has grown up with microtransactions? Because I haven't, and I would consider myself someone fairly young in comparison to most of the people that play it. I'm 21, pay to win is okay. You are probably a generation below me, or like after me, right? But I would say most players in Lost Ark are probably my age or older. Why am I still here? Just to suffer. Or I can stay in the middle. I'm 20, 40. I mean, then again, obviously Twitch audience is a different story again. Like, I'm just talking about like the player base in general, right? Do you think anything in the game is free to play? It's still pay to win because someone can get an advantage by paying.
everybody is different, and you know, my ideas don't necessarily affect an individual, but this is kind of what I'm assuming, and I'm basing this off of my fundamental belief that people will always
kids?
advocate in their
Jesus,
self-interest.
dude.
And
That's cool
what I
as fuck,
think
though.
is that there were the guys that were raiding in high school and college in Burning Crusade, Classic WoW, Wrath of the Lich King. Well, guess what? Now they're balding, gray-bearded,
and have less
35-year-old men. 35-year-old men that are, you know, they've got a wife, kids, and you know what? They've also got a pretty good software engineering job, and they're making over 100 grand a year. And the kids that are 15 and 17 now that are kicking their ass in the video game, it pisses them off. So I think it's just as simple as a lot of the guys that grew up playing video games, they don't really care too much about pay to win as much anymore because now they can afford to pay to win.
Like, so just looking at the chat, that's so badass. Like, we have so many different... I mean, that's always the case, obviously. It's just cool. I think that's cool. 100K a year?
Back in the day, they couldn't afford to pay to win. They didn't like it. Now, people are older, they have the money, and you know what? Pay to win's not that bad. And I do know this is a very, very black pill take on it. This is a very, very, I don't know, nihilistic perspective to have. But I think that it's true. I really do. I see people say this stuff all the time, and you know, you can corroborate this with the amount of mobile game revenue that's being generated here in America. You're having every single soccer mom on the block playing Candy Crush and depositing tickets into that, depositing crystals, tokens, whatever the fuck you use in that game, and they're spending money like these, like it's crack. I mean, like, just so you guys understand, last year, I think this is 2021, I could be wrong about the year, but I'm not wrong about the numbers, mobile gaming revenue was more than console and PC gaming revenue combined. So these games are making bank. And this is the facts, okay? Let me ask you a question. If somebody offers you $100 or $120, which one are you going to take? I think most people are going to take $120. And I think the more that you depersonalize that decision by, you know, extrapolating it to a group decision amongst people in general, the more that you have that $120 be the obvious option. So that's why I think that we're going to see a lot more.
I think that it's obviously overly simplified, but just looking at it that way, I don't think it's overly correct because you are compromising your game. And that's why a lot of indie games nowadays are doing way better, or games that are actually genuine are doing way better. Not financially, but number-wise. Because you are always compromising your game's enjoyment for pay-to-win. Always. Because you will create systems that are artificially not good enough, and then people will buy it, right? They feel incentivized to do it, so they're doing better. They're optimizing their time, right? Hattori, how you doing? Warcraft Mobile? I don't know if I'm gonna watch that. So, like, I think looking at it this way, you get to pick how people spend their money. Wait, what? I don't even see that. NPC memes now. I didn't slap them. Wait, what?
More pay-to-win games come out because I think audiences have been softened up by the fact that they've grown up with features like this, and so this is either normalized for them, or you have people that are now older and have less time, and so they appreciate features like this because it allows them to keep up with people that they wouldn't be able to keep up with otherwise because they just simply don't have, you know, they have other life responsibilities nowadays, and so they pay to win instead. And these are the people that talk about, oh, it's not pay to win, it's pay for convenience. It's like, bro, it's pay to win. But, you know, I think it's important to call it what it is, but it's also important to see why people feel this way. And I think the fact is that this is going to continue happening, and it's going to continue becoming more prevalent. And I think that, I mean, really, where is this going to go? Where are people going to go with this? I think that there's going to be even more social pressure to even engage in pay-to-win systems. Now, I only have
I've talked about this actually a while ago. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a while ago, Hedon did an interview on BDO, on the biggest whale of BDO, like some dude that spent like 300k in like a half a year or some shit on BDO, paid to winning out of his fucking mind, right? And we had like a discussion about that. Like, what the fuck is going on over there? Like, and then there's a lot of people in the chat that said, guys, it's their money. It's about like, why are we judging them? It's their money. They can spend it however we want, or however they want. Content. I think it was, no, it wasn't content. It was deer or something. And you know what I said? I said the moment we accept pay to win and people like just absolutely shortcutting themselves to better gear is when the games will keep doing it, and there will be more and more and more of this. And the more it is accepted, and the more you think that it's socially acceptable to take shortcuts like that in a game, the more it will happen. And you will see more and more and more and more of this over the years. Because like back in the day, if someone was paid to win, like you can see it a little bit nowadays even on my stuff, which, I mean, I'm not even paid to win, but like people want to completely diminish your achievement of the game if you pay to win, which is obvious because pay to win doesn't require effort in the game. So the achievement of getting like high gear when you pay to win is irrelevant because you didn't actually work for it in the game, right? So back in the day, if you paid to win, there was way more of a big deal, right? Way more. Like people would shit on you relentlessly for being paid to win. And people would straight up just dismiss you and your opinion if you were paid to win. But the more we get more and more into socially accepted territory, where pay to winning is kind of cool and I can like be really cool item level and look at me and blah blah blah. And I think that's super bad in the long term. And I don't think it will change no matter what I say, right? You can't stop people spending their own money because you don't like something. I mean, the thing is like, if there's no demand for pay to win, then there won't be pay to win. So it's both, right? Like because players want to pay to win, people offer it to them, right? So either way, like I don't know. Obviously, pay to win at the end of the day, it is your own money, and you can do whatever the fuck you want, right? But at the same time, it does undermine the game and the games in the future as well. Although I don't think there's any way to stop it now. I think we're way too deep. So I think we're like I think we're too deep. So either way, like I think pay to winning nowadays doesn't matter anymore because it's not gonna change. But like 3-4 years ago when we had that discussion, then it still mattered, but now I think it's already over. I think it's the case where the few at the very top create pressure for the rest. Not really though. No one's creating pressure, it's just FOMO, right? Like you can right now be level 30 in Lost Ark and you will have the same, like, well, besides the bots, right? You have the same game as I did when I leveled, right?
Points of reference for this and data or information to back this up, but I do think that it's true, especially if you corroborate it with the in general social pressure to keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with the latest social trends, making sure that you have an iPhone 6, because anybody that has an iPhone 5 nowadays is fucking poor.
That is FOMO as well, right? What he's talking about right now. They're like, if your friends all have an iPhone 6 and you don't, then you feel like you will need it as well. But that kind of mentality is just brain dead. Like if you think like that, you're just a sheep. You're just an ant that follows the ant line, and that's all you do. Like it's pathetic. Like if you buy a new iPhone because your friends have one, like it's just it's just sad, right? It's just sad because like, how do I even say this? Because you don't even have your own agency. You just do what others do. You know what I mean? Like if you want a new iPhone because you need it, cool. But if you buy a new iPhone because everyone has one, then it's just sad, right? Like if you're that influenced by what people do, then I don't know. Like you gotta rethink what you're doing, man. Like if you're that influenced.
So what I've seen a lot of times, like remember back in Fortnite, kids would bully other kids for not having microtransaction skins in Fortnite. And I think this is going to become even more prevalent and even more common among a larger audience, because I already see this happen. If you guys ever see, go on Twitter, go on Reddit or something like that, and especially on Twitter, because Reddit's more of a crystallized or a more serious audience. And you're going to see, you know, like there's a new microtransaction that X or Y company, let's just assume Blizzard, let's assume Blizzard announces, I don't know, a new store mount, and you're going to see all of these people that, you know, they've got their profile picture of it, and it's of their character, or it's fan art of their character, and their name is like, you know, Ashley Windrunner, and she simps for Sylvanas because she's actually crazy, you know, and, you know, this is the kind of person, and she's like, wow, this is so awesome, you know, I don't have a lot of money this month, but I think I'm gonna have to buy this. And it's like, people make fun of the girl, and then she's like, well, guess what, I have the money, I'm not a broke bitch. And so people view it, and I think that you're going to see the introduction of this to happen more, is people are going to view status in video games as being able to afford certain types of microtransactions.
Oh, I hope this never happens. They're funding the game for us. It doesn't affect their skill level and rates, and it works like real life. You either put your own time into something or you pay for it. Be done if you feel like the game time is valuable. If you make 300k a year, time is worth $150 an hour. Okay, I'm just gonna do this really quick, okay? One big fundamental part of video games is that you have a separate world, a separate place that has nothing to do with your real life. It's like the great equalizer, right? The cool thing is that you can reinvent yourself in a different place that has nothing, no indicate, like you could even, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter how you look, it doesn't matter how much money you have, none of that matters. That's why video games were so fucking cool. Because you could become whoever the fuck you want. If you think your time is worth $150 an hour while you play a video game, then you don't understand how video games work. You don't understand even the basis of video gaming. That's all I'm gonna say. Your servers aren't down, I don't think. I'm still here.
Actions and having certain types of things in the game in general, and this has always been the case, but what's different this time is that that status is not derived from effort or time invested in the game, it's derived from money invested or money spent in the game. And I think
if we ever get to the point where there's like status symbols and like people flexing with how much money they spend on a video game, I'm quitting video games. It's already hella cringe IRL, but doing that in a video game is even worse. Like if we ever get to that point, gee, I'm out. Like I'm leaving.
Happening, you're already seeing this, and you have more and more people now that actually it's weird. I think it's just so weird that people almost take pride in spending money on these types of things because they can do it. You know, they feel like they can, this is what they want to do with their money, and, you know, I mean, who am I to tell people what they can and can't do with their money, right? Do whatever the fuck you want. But I do think, I can still have an opinion on it. I think it's dumb. But, you know, that's what they do. And so I think this is going to become more and more prevalent, and it's going to become more and more popular as, you know, those younger people who grew up with microtransactions and being conditioned to be okay with them. I think more of those people are going to be okay.
Ashes of Creation has way more issues or problems or the weird, like, niche things than that, but I mean, yeah, we'll see. Displaying your yearly post-tax income where your title is, and then what's your new title is the future.
And you're going to become more and more popular as, you know, those younger people who grew up with microtransactions and being conditioned to be okay with them. I think more of those people are going to be okay with it, and you're going to see those people getting older, and more of the Asmongolds, of these people either getting really good software engineering jobs and being able to just buy the stuff anyway and feel better than the kids that can't fucking buy it, or you're going to see them move on. And, you know, like I have friends of mine who, you know, they were really, really against pay to win, and they fucking hated that shit. They played World of Warcraft back in the day, and now they're like a manager at like a big box store, and they have a wife and 3 kids, and so they just don't fucking play video games at all anymore. So that's what I think is going to happen a lot, and those people are going to remove themselves from the population in general,
and so
of video game players. So I think this is going to become more and more popular, and I'm very worried about this. And the reason why I'm worried about it, there's a lot of reasons why I'm worried about it.
Hello, Kraken.
I think that like in a perfect
Kraken,
world,
we will do it. We'll do it. Okay, it's my bad. Sorry, dude.
I'd like to see, you know, some degree of like
Genuinely.
legislation to
I know you wanted to
limit
join.
the types of.
I would probably even stop the stream like in 30 minutes anyway. So, but like if you want to join for the weekend Argos run, you gotta be there though, unless I forget again, or I will forget again. But we just react to Andy content now.
Behaviors and the types of things like this that games can offer you, in my opinion. This is kind of like what I think, and let's use
Software
Lost
engineers
Ark
still
as an
plays video
example,
games. That's good.
is that I think that if Lost Ark, let's say because you know in Belgium and the Netherlands you can't play Lost Ark because according to Belgium and the Netherlands rules and their laws, Lost Ark is an illegal game because it simulates gambling. Well, my opinion is that if Western games and Western audiences, I'm talking like Canada, America, Australia, and you know even more European countries had similar laws that prevented you from playing games like this, the fact is that those games simply would not exist because Western and American audiences are just so massive that they would have to change the game and change the paradigm of how.
I think Belgium and Netherlands do a very good job, but no other country is doing a good job. If the entire world would say no more bullshit RNG loot box garbage, no more casino gaming, if the entire world would say that, then the games would have to adapt, and that's what would fix a lot of these issues. Would be cool as fuck, but it's not gonna happen, right? JMB, how you doing?
How you pay money in order to appeal to making sure that those games were legally coherent and legally, they were following the law, right? And so I feel like I would love to see more legislation. And where do I really draw the line? Where do I think pay to win? Like I don't like any pay to win. Pay to win sucks. Like yeah. Sure. I've done pay to win stuff in Lost Ark. Same with WoW. I usually do it for content and you know just because it saves time, etc. And it's in the game. But I would prefer that none of this stuff existed. And where do I really see change happening? I see change happening on a legislation level. I see change happening on a actual like a forced level of like laws and things like this because I've said this many times, these companies, they will do whatever they can to make money, and people will always find a way to make an excuse for buying their products. People hate child labor, but they're still buying products from Apple. People hate child labor again, they're still buying products from Nike. These things just keep happening, and they'll always find an excuse or a reason for it, and I don't think that you can really hold these companies accountable in any term.
I mean, like it's always like hate the game, I hate the player kind of mentality. Like if no one is like actually putting laws in for this to not happen anymore, then it will keep happening, I guess. But I mean, at that point, I think they would just make it you can buy exactly something not RNG, but with way higher prices. Yeah, he's talking about maybe that they could just legislate it in a way that you can't even have pay to win in your game. Like it's not allowed. Like you can't get an advantage in a video game by paying, which will obviously never happen because the people who make the laws don't even know what pay to win is. So like that's never gonna happen. But that would be probably the only way it would be fixed. People seem to forget that LA is free to play. What about it? I would personally much rather have it if Lost Ark wasn't free to play and you have to have a proper like a box price of $30 and then you have another sub fee mandatory. I would rather have that, but obviously that's not really the case. Make a majority of the funding so they won't have money to develop more content. I mean, Hicks, how you doing? What, like a monthly fee? I mean, like it used to be. Rather buy things for high price if there was less RNG in what I receive. The legislature in the Netherlands and Belgium just made it you can't have RNG in what you pay for. That's why they can't buy RNG. But yeah, I know. Pay to win is actually good because of that money. I can enjoy better free content. I mean, if you play a game as a single player experience, then you're probably right? Like if you don't really give a shit about the authenticity of the world and the integrity of like progress. And if you just play it as a solo player, basically, where maybe with your friends or something, we don't really give a shit about any other players and competition and any of that, then I guess that's true. Even if you made LA with monthlies up, there were still bots who would steal gold. Way less, way less though. I think PoE is a really good model. I would even argue that that is probably one of the best on the entire market. There's basically only one pay to win item in PoE, and that is the premium stash tab, which allows you to sell items. So if you don't even play, if you only play solo, self-found, doesn't even apply anymore. But then you're just playing a single player game anyways, right? But then as I said, like PoE is very close to a single player game anyways, so maybe it's not the best like comparison, you know? But PoE generally has a really good monetization model, I would say. Basically saying, here's 1 billion cosmetics each league launch. If you want to support us, this shit's gonna be expensive, but you get some cool shit for it as well. It's like almost like a donation to the company, you know? I like that. Skins at this point, even more than the player base pays for gear upgrades. That could also be the case. Like skins, I mean, listen, like Overwatch, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, all of those games are only funded by skins, basically. I mean, I think Counter-Strike had a box price too, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like you could finance most games just with cosmetics, which is also not that great for an MMO, by the way, because cosmetics undermine visual player progression. We talked about this before yesterday. Like how a lot of people look at the weapon glow to determine if someone is like good at the game or has a lot of damage, right? Not necessarily good at the game because you can pay to win it, but like the only visual progression on your character that showcases your strength or the strength of the character is the glow, right? So it's in a lot of cases the integral part, because everything else is just a skin. It has nothing to do with your character strength, right? I'm currently not watching any new anime
term
yet.
of a boycott or in any term of a like a consumer rights activism group or anything like that. I think that the only way that it can ever
showcases
be
your
actually moderated and
but it still showcases your
is
strength
on a legislative level,
right?
because I've tried everything
skins.
else and it hasn't worked.
Did you try Torikyo yet?
Where
No,
do I
but
think
I did
that they
say
should
that.
draw the line? Where should be the first line to draw? I think it's very simple. I think that you should not be able to buy loot boxes. I think that loot boxes that you spend money, if you ever spend money...
I'm not a comedy guy, if you couldn't tell, but if it's good, I don't know.
In a game, and then that money goes towards something that is not necessarily a direct outcome.
Crimson, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, if you pay to win, you're undermining time and effort of other players in the game. And that's why video games were so cool, because you couldn't do that. Everyone started at the same level, and everyone could go to the same level if they put the effort and time in, right? And you can't do that anymore now, basically.
So, like, for example, you buy a box, and then the box has a randomized chance to have different items in it, like an Overwatch box, and, just a traditional loot box.
Yeah.
I think that these should be illegal. I think that they simulate gambling, and I don't think that they have... I think not only do they simulate gambling, but these games are also they're made to appeal to children and young people.
I'm looking forward to that
too. And I think that using advertising and marketing that appeals to young people and then trying to engage them into a video game that simulates gambling.
What about the people that don't have time? Should they just quit? No, they should just play the game. The problem is, I think that a lot of people are seeing is that in a lot of cases, a lot of games don't become good until you're at the highest level of play, right? But that is not that is designed that way. Most games, like, why do you think Lost Ark leveling is brain dead garbage? Why do you think all of these storylines you need to knowledge transfer them, or like boost your character through them? Why do you think that is? Because they're artificially making the content early game as trash as fucking possible. So you are incentivized to pay. That's why they gave us if you think leveling was good, was the hardest part. Like, why do you think they gave us 2 boosts after you leveled your first character, because they knew that leveling is absolutely atrocious. Usually in Korea, they didn't give you just free 2 boosts when you completed Vern. Now 3. But because we are way less okay with the pay-to-win stuff, the only reason why someone that plays 1 hour a day wants to be at the same... Well, 2 reasons. The only 2 reasons why someone that plays 1 hour a day in comparison to 10 hours a day wants to be at the same level is because 1, the game's content below the highest level is boring as shit and garbage. And it's designed that way, so you feel like, oh my god, if I don't play the highest content, I'm just gonna be bored. And 2 is because they're feeling like they're missing out because other people are having more fun than them, which is pathetic anyways. But like, you know what I mean? Like, there's only this, all of this low-end stuff is just boring as fuck, so people want to push to the good stuff. They could design really cool games from the ground up, where the game is fun from the get-go, but they don't do that. How is it incorrect? What about Lost Ark low-level content is good? Leveling is trash. Tier 1 is garbage. Tier 2 is horrible. All of that is bad. And they wanted people to go through that as fast as possible so they don't quit the game. With their friends who do have more time to play? Yeah, that's also something. But that's also the next thing, like... Why do you think League of Legends is so successful? Is it because you can play with everyone in your ranked game? Because your Iron 5 friend wants to play with you in your Diamond games? No, you can't do that. But is there a way to pay to win so you can play in Diamond? No, there isn't. Like, there's a reason why playing in higher rankings and being higher item level and doing high level content is rewarding, is because not every fucking clown can just get there. Boosting buying accounts, that is third party. This has nothing to do with the topic. Of course you can always do illegal shit and get banned for it, you know? Of course you can do that. But the company is not telling you, okay, here's a boost. League is not giving you the option to buy a boost in their store. Right? Because if that was the case, then getting to Diamond would feel like shit. Because some other clown just bought a boost to Diamond. Then why do you even push in the first place? You know? More fun than the current one, so people keep playing. Therefore, newer content will always be better. Not necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but in old MMOs, like when I always have this example. When I started playing MMOs, I could play like 2 hours a week max, probably 2 hours every 2 weeks. And for me, it felt like an accomplishment just to get to level 20 in WoW Vanilla. And every single quest I did felt cool, and every upgrade I got felt like an achievement. And I got so mad, I remember that. I got so mad, I was doing Wailing Caverns on my Tauren Warrior. And I did it for the 3rd time because I wanted to dual wield the fucking weird blue-green spiky club thing. Because I thought it looked so goddamn cool. And that would increase my damage by an insane amount. And then I went in there, and then some dude ninja looted it. I was so fucking pissed that he did. Nowadays, if someone... Do you think I would give a shit if you could ninja loot an item in a Lost Ark level 20 dungeon? I couldn't give less of a fucking shit if all of those items are irrelevant. I'm just gonna replace them in literally like 10 minutes. And the content doesn't even demand better items anyways, because it's piss easy. There's no pay to win in Lost Ark PvP. I've never said it was. I've never said there was. If there wasn't so much win trading and account buys on EUNA, Korean server wouldn't be that much better, and the ping as well. I mean, that's also obviously cringe, but that isn't even offered by the company. No, I'm not hating on Lost Ark here, I'm just saying. I mean, I am kind of hating on Lost Ark here because the lower level content in Lost Ark is horrible. And that's why a lot of Koreans say that EUNA needs to catch up as well. Because the game doesn't become fun until Valten Vikes clown, you know? Because that's when the actual content is more permanent. Your relic accessories and relic gear will be lasting for way longer. You enable a lot of set effects for your characters, so you have more build options and you have more build enabling sets. And you have content that's actually engaging and challenging. You know? That's what they're talking about. Because the lower level content is just not that good. And there's like, and that's why you see big streamers quit the game and not play it left and right, because it's horribly boring. And a lot of streamers just play on Korea instead. Although they're 13 years behind on Korea, but yet they still play there. Like when I started playing on Lost Ark Russia, and I barely scrapped for 2 weeks until I got to Valton normal with the help of my viewers to actually get to endgame content. And we wiped on Valton for 10 hours straight, and we didn't even kill the boss. Was I like having the feeling of missing out that some other people are doing clown right now on hard mode? No, I didn't. I was busy doing the fucking content at hand, because the content on normal Valton was already challenging enough for me to be engaged. I don't need to be higher level at that point, because I haven't experienced the shit before. So everyone who always says, "Oh my god, I want to catch up to my friends," and "Oh my god, I want to do the highest level content," like, you should be busy doing something else. But in most games nowadays, everything until the highest level is horribly boring. And that's why you want to get out of this fucking shit, so you can actually do the good content. But what if the entire game had good content? You wouldn't feel like that anymore, because even the level 10 dungeon would engage you, and therefore you don't feel like you can't have fun until the very end, you know? But of course, if everything is hella boring and you see other people actually having fun with good content, then obviously you want to buy more royal crystals so you get there, you know? Does that not make sense? Yeah, because you would be occupied. Like I was occupied doing Wailing Caverns, and I was so fucking engaged. Or how I was occupied doing normal Valton on Russia, because I was just occupied just understanding that. Right? I don't need to do hard mode clown when I can't even beat normal Valton. Right? I'm already engaged in the game. But what you find challenging or easy isn't the same for others. What you find boring, someone else might find challenging. No one finds Lost Ark leveling good, or challenging, or engaging. There's no way. Unless you've never played a game before in your life, maybe.
Is this different from flavored cigarettes? How is this different? I don't know. I feel like it's somehow even worse. And I'm just so tired of seeing this shit. And I think that, yes, you're right. Everybody should... Like, I don't necessarily... I'll be honest.
I said this before. If the average player of an MMORPG, or any game really, if the average player can be in the highest level environment of the game, that could be in League of Legends playing in Challenger, that is in Lost Ark doing, I don't know, hard mode Abral Shut, right? If the average player can do that, your game is hella fucking shit and boring. Because that should not be the case ever. There always needs to be something that is higher, that people want to work towards, and that's not just there for everyone. Because the moment you apply that to everyone, it does not become an achievement anymore, and people don't want to do it. That's why you see in World of Warcraft, them releasing Looking for Raid has only really achieved people hating the content, because they can do it early, and they're already through the entire story and could do the easiest boss in the world, but, you know, still have finished the expansion or whatever. League is purely skill, Lost Ark you have gear, but of course, in MMO you also have gear progression, but which I think just makes it even worse if you can just skip to that. Because gear progression should also feel rewarding, that your character grows stronger and you slowly but surely, like, you know, enhance your experience and enhance your character. That should even be, it's even worse than an MMO if you skip. You know? JMB, thanks, man. Thank you. I hope if you have any questions, just let me know, okay?
This just might sound like an asshole thing, but I don't necessarily feel sorry for these people whenever they make stupid decisions like spending money on these games, but I don't think that it should happen either way. It's like, it's stupid to leave your...
This story should be gated by skill. If you're so interested to see how the story of the Lich King ends, you shouldn't just be able to do an easy mode Lich King that doesn't feel rewarding whatsoever. That's just a shortcut, and it feels horrible. You know? I don't think that should be a thing. No, you shouldn't have access to the highest, like, story arc or whatever of the game. It's bad as fuck. Like, you know how badass it is if you actually wanted to know the story and you care about that and you actually go there yourself and it's a challenging fight. It takes you 4 weeks to complete it, and then on the final day you finally see that goddamn piece of shit fall and you're like, holy shit. And then you see the cinematic for the first time in the game and you're like, what? I've been working for this. That's what rewarding is, you know?
Your car unlocked with a brand new PS5 in it in a bad bad side of town, in the middle of an empty parking lot, and then you come back the next day, PS5 is gone. Yeah, I think you're dumb for doing that, but I still think the guy who stole it should go to jail. And the way that I feel about this is that I would love to see more legislation about this. I'd like to see more, not more, at least one, right? Tech-savvy senator or some person in a legislative office that's able to identify this and understand what the problem is and see how insidious it is. It's very worrying to see this happen, and I'm worried that it's going to get too far ahead of us and we're going to have even more games that become even more parasitic, and these games implement more gambling features that are more unhealthy towards audiences. And I do think that unless it's actually regulated, I think that there is no way a individual consumer, you can choose to, and I completely respect the idea that, I'm not going to buy this or that game based off of this or that reason because you have a moral thing or you just don't like it. More power to you to do that, but I don't think that's going to change the market. And I think that games like Genshin Impact, games like Lost Ark, games like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, Scopy, I also think so. Like, pay to winning and then getting the content done will feel way worse. And you don't get the excitement of failing and then succeeding, right? And that is something that is really satisfying. It's a big part of gaming, right? Because at the beginning you always suck. And eventually you will overcome the difficulty, and that feels good. But if you can just shortcut your way there, then it will feel way worse. And today, I mean, I was doing Argos on my Shadowhunter with horrible build and whatever, right? And it took forever because our group wasn't super polished. Like, we kept dying because we didn't have a support. It was longer and it was more fun to do because it wasn't just brain dead, you know. But if I go into that raid with my blade and I just one-shot the entire raid in 15 minutes, like, cool, I guess, you know?
That have these obvious features that are simulating gambling. I think these features and the prevalence and the success of these games serves as direct evidence that boycotts and personal abstaining from something personally is just simply not working. And I think that we need some sort of advocacy on a legislative level for this, and I hope that it happens before it's too late and before more people get taken down that road. But again, I think people are dumb. They should be accountable for themselves, and they shouldn't take those decisions to begin with. But at the end of the day, at a certain point, you do have to protect dumb people from themselves. And I think that we're definitely down that road. And I really hope that, I hope more people can wake up and see that, and we can actually look and see what's really going wrong.
Yeah.
And I think also, if these things didn't exist and they were, for some reason illegal, I don't think that it's not like we wouldn't see video games anymore. We would just see better and more ethically designed video games. And it's not like these people would just close up shop. And if they did, and they can't make a game without simulating gambling, well, maybe that's probably for the best. So anyway, that's how I feel about pay to win. I think that it's going to become even more popular. I think that it's going to become even more prevalent. And I think the only thing that's going to slow it down is going to be actual legislation. I think that anything else besides that is just completely spitting in the wind. It will do literally nothing, and the people that enjoy it will laugh at you for being upset about it. So that's what I think, and I'd be really curious to hear what you guys think too. I know I'm probably half the people at this point have already paused the video and have already written, holy shit. I think that's the it's the government or one of these companies here to shut me down. A lot of you guys have already paused the video halfway through to give your 2 cents about this in the comments, but if you haven't already, please go ahead and do it. I'd like to read what people have to say and see what they think, because as I said, this is my my interpretation of things after seeing them evolve and change, and I'd be curious to see what everybody else's is as well. So thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And what an ironic statement that this is going to be on the eve of tomorrow, which is going to be the release of the World of Warcraft mobile game.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah, that's gonna be later today on, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll see, I guess, how that goes. Yeah, I think that was a good video. I linked it in the chat. Give it a like.